day 2, round 2. Squeaky floor landing. So I pulled this trim off here, and what I found was that from right about this point that way, this rises up above the floor, so that down there it's, gosh, half an inch higher than the floor, and then from right about here it's just maybe a whisper high. And I can't really get my eyes to sight the board, but I don't think it's humped. I think we might actually have a dip in here. Why does this matter? What matters, because I want to take my 3/4 plywood flooring and, you know, overhang it 3/4 of an inch, half inch, something like that, to give a wraparound for the carpet. But I can't set it on that unless I'm prepared to shim all these up. I'm very, very willing at this point to just go ahead and leave the floor with its slope, because that'll allow me to stick underneath and I'll have a nice edge along there that I can caulk and then trim out, as opposed to trying to trapezoid cut them all and butting them up over there. You know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, right? No matter what, it's going to be a bunch of work, and no matter what, it's not going to match with everything else that's here, because nothing up here matches. But look at this, there's just piles of garbage jammed in here, and used to space this board out. There's that cardboard wall sheeting that my sheetrock's on top of. So I don't want to mess with that. Yeah. I guess I still have some thinking to do. One of the things I have been able to figure out up here is that these little stubs, rafters, they just cut them off right here, and they were roof rafters. Back in a time when this had a low shed roof on it, from a time when it was apparently just one story. So that's those things figured out. And then these must have been the collars, and so they just nailed their new floor joists straight to the collars. I still believe that it is these right here that are squeaking. I can get to that run from the hallway if I could figure out some way to find it, and I was willing to put a whole crap ton of screws and just bury them through my drywall. I potentially could screw up from the bottom, but I think it's these two boards as they slide past each other as they bow. I mean, there's a nail there, there's a nail on that one. I see a nail there and a nail there, and I just think they're creaking. So I'm going to try, like I said, impact driver and lag bolt them together. I found an unusual solution. Rather than trying to remove this, which is such an integral part of the wall, it'll wreck some of the drywall in other places, what I'm doing is I'm using a power planer, and I'm simply planing it down. So now here, I've got it to where it's below. Right there, I still need more. Basically the rest of the way up, I still need more. And then in order to get into the corners, I'm using this old broken Sargent, and I'll move the iron, up to the nose, so that I can get all the way up into there. So, custom work, custom fit, be like an airplane or something. So here's what that first sheet of plywood laid down, and this is what I mean when I say it's out of square. And this isn't even the half of it, because as you can see, I've buried that corner into a hollow in the wall. So if I pull it out flush with the wall, It's about 3 inches. 3 inches out of square in just over 6 feet along that wall. And of course, I'm letting it run wild down in there. I'm squaring it off to this trim board because you have to pick something, right? I mean, you just, nothing lines up, so you got to pick one straight line and go with it. So I'm building that straight line right here. Which seems to make good sense to me. So anyways, what I'll do is I'll measure that distance right there, and then I'll cut it off of this side in a continuous taper all the way along. And then when I bring the sheet all the way back up in here, she'll fit, in theory. That's got the first sheet down. I used a lot more screws in the field than would be typical, mostly because I'm trying to hold it together. Yeah, there is still one squeak in the landing. You got rid of those big groans, and then as I come this way, I'll keep pinning those old ceiling joists to the new rafters. I mean, I cut almost 3 inches out of that corner, and I just notched, rather than cutting a continuous angle, I just notched for the studs, and so it slid underneath. So that corner butts up against the corner stud, and that one is slid in 3 inches. But that at least gives me square to some extent off of right here. And even though this trim line isn't the squarest thing in the world, it's, like I said before, you have to pick something and then use it. And so that's kind of what I've done there. But now I can pull up the next set, put the next one in. It won't get interesting till we get over here because screw head's stripped out. So I don't know how to get this post out. I've already decided that I'm not going to put my old railing back in. When I made it stupid. So I'm going to do something new. Something that can be taken down so that if we're moving furniture up here, I mean, it's such a horrible staircase. It goes down 90, which is a T, into a hallway. It's just horrible. In fact, there's actually quite a bit of furniture we simply cannot physically get up here. Oh crap, I see that thing diving. So once I get that done, I'll probably have to custom cut it, one continuous line, without messing up my trim boards somehow. Yay. Anyways, squeak free. The floor does not bounce nearly as bad as it once did. I assume that's just these, 3/4 inch shiplap springing, so that doesn't happen anymore. So the next process will just be to clean these off, slide the next one in. When the next one comes in, I don't know what I'll have to do. There's be no way I can get a full sheet of plywood up these stairs by myself. So I'll probably have to half sheet it, right here, piece in this corner. And I know that's out of square. I know that's out of square by like 4 inches because I remember doing it from the drywall. But I'll piece in this corner right here, and then I can turn the hallway and try to go down. There's underneath that carpet, there's a floor that I got to try to match up to. So, but we'll worry about that when the day comes. Well, there's the second sheet down. I got to crawl out from underneath that wall. Frickin' thing. And now I was gonna put up trim anyways. But it stinks to have to put in a filler strip, silicone it, because you want the air seal. I mean, this time around at least it'll be somewhat sealed. Oh, who am I kidding, right? It's better than it was, and just roll with it. It's no energy saver house for sure, just better. But yeah, here's 2 pieces down. Some of my problems are that this 3/4 flooring is actually 7/8, so that's giving me a little bigger gaps in some of these locations than I would have liked. But no. Alright, so there's still a few squeaks. But then, as G-Dub said, you're never going to get them out of an old wood house. But that whole squeak every step is gone. It was right there, and we killed it. So, there's another one right there, and I fully intend to kill it when I get there. No doubt. But that'll be round 3.